My name is Victor Hale. I am 58 years old. 4 months ago, I thought I knew exactly what my life would look like by this time next year. I'd be standing under a string of overpriced fairy lights, saying vows I'd rewritten 6 times to sound both casual and profound. Instead, I'm sitting in an apartment that suddenly feels too quiet, replaying one sentence until it sounds like it belongs to someone else's life. Stop introducing me as your future husband. It makes me look like I settled. Renata didn't whisper it. She said it in the car on the highway with the kind of tight, controlled irritation that tells you this thought didn't just show up tonight. It's been living in her head for a while. If you'd asked me a year ago, I would have said we were solid. Not some cinematic love story, just good, steady, real. We met when I was 55 and she was 30 at a financial compliance seminar. A glamorous way of saying mandatory work thing with bad coffee. I work in risk management. Renata is a corporate lawyer. She made a joke about the pastries tasting like legal liability, and I laughed harder than the joke deserved. We were the last 2 people in the room, her finishing an email, me trying to look busy so I didn't have to make small talk with my manager. She asked if I wanted a drink to debrief the trauma. I said yes. We were one of those couples that made sense on paper, moved in together after a year, engaged last spring, wedding set for next October. For a long time, I thought we were on the same page. Then a few months ago, the page started to have very fine print I hadn't noticed. It started small, little comments about my job, my trajectory, the people I spent time with. "You've been in that role a while, haven't you?" She'd say, scrolling her phone. "Don't you want to aim higher? My friend's husband just made partner, his wife's already VP, power couple, you know. Like an observation, like weather. But when someone you love keeps mentioning the forecast, eventually you start wondering if they're telling you to carry an umbrella. I make good money, not flashy, but solid. I like finishing my day without checking email at midnight. For me, that felt like success. For Renata, it apparently started to feel like dead air. 3 weeks ago, we went to her friend's engagement party, rooftop, rented lighting, a flower wall people lined up to photograph. When we reached a group she clearly wanted to impress, I smiled and did what I always do. "Hi, I'm Victor. This is my fiancée, Renata." Polite. Simple. True. On the drive home, the air felt heavier than it should have. "Can you not do that?" she said suddenly. "Do what?" I asked. "Introduce me like that, like you're making some big announcement. It makes me uncomfortable." "We are engaged," I said quietly. "Is it weird to say what's true? It feels like you're trying to claim something in front of people," she said. At the time, I told myself she was tired. She'd had 2 drinks on an empty stomach. I let it go. I wish that had been the only time. 2 nights ago. Dinner with her colleagues and old law school friends. Someone asked how long we'd been together. 3 years, I said. And this is my future wife. We're getting married next October. The table went briefly quiet, then smiled. Someone said, "Congratulations." Conversation moved on. But across from me, Renata's face had gone tight. The second we got in the car, she shut the door harder than necessary. "I asked you not to do that," she said. "Do what?" My voice came out careful, though I already knew. "Introduce me like that. As your future wife, it makes me look like I settled." The words hit me cold and blunt. "Like you what?" I asked. "Like I couldn't do better," she snapped. "Like I just picked someone convenient. For 3 years I'd been measuring myself by this woman's approval without fully realizing it. Now I was staring at the unvarnished version. "You think being engaged to me makes you look like you settled?" I said. "You think I make you look bad?" She didn't say yes. She didn't have to. We drove home like strangers. I sat on the couch in the dark, and something inside me clicked into place. Not anger yet, clarity. If I stayed, this would be my life. Constantly auditioning for impressive enough, knowing the director had already decided I was miscast. After 2 hours, I picked up my laptop. I opened the shared calendar, every event she wanted to parade me at. My name listed as her +1. I sent polite messages to the hosts I knew. "I won't be able to attend. So sorry for the late notice." I didn't explain. I just quietly removed myself from her narrative. Then I opened a message to Priya, Renata's best friend since college. the one person in her circle who'd ever asked how I was doing, and waited for the answer. We ended up on a call near midnight. She actually said the word settled, I told her. Her exact phrase was, "Stop introducing me as your future husband. It makes me look like I settled." Long, furious silence then. "What do you need me to do?" By the time we hung up, the plan was simple. Sunday brunch was at Renata's favorite restaurant. Priya would arrive early. Ask the staff to place an envelope at Renata's seat. Inside, a letter I'd write, and a printed cancellation confirmation from our wedding venue. Sunday morning, the apartment felt unnaturally quiet. Renata moved with the stiff energy of someone pretending everything was fine. "Are you sure you're not coming?" she finally asked. "Yes. Can we please not make this a spectacle? My friends will think something's wrong." "Something is wrong," I said. She grabbed her keys. "I'll see you later." "Maybe," I said. She blinked. "What does that mean?" I just looked at her, steady, unreadable, and after a moment she walked out. A message came from Priya. "She's here. They just seated her. The envelope is in place." Then my phone lit up like a siren. Renata calling. I let it ring out. 20 minutes later, the door swung open hard. "What is this?" she demanded, envelope crushed in her fist. "It's exactly what it looks like," I said. "You canceled the venue without talking to me. You said introducing you as my future wife makes you look like you settled. I decided to solve that problem. You blindsided me in front of everyone," she said. "Do you have any idea how humiliating that was?" "Humiliation?" I said. "That's what you're worried about. You told me being engaged to me makes you look like you settled. What exactly should I have done? Pretend that was normal?" "You took one comment and blew up our entire life," she said. "It wasn't one comment," I said. "Don't rewrite history. You've been making little digs for months about my job, my ambition, my value to you. That's not fair," she said. "What's not fair is being with someone who sees me as a downgrade." "I was stressed," she said. "I said things badly." "No," I said gently but firmly. "You said things honestly. That's what bothers you. Not the words. The fact that I finally believe them." I walked to the drawer, took out the small velvet ring box, set it on the table. "I'm done," I said softly. "I'm not going to marry someone who's embarrassed to be with me." "Please don't do this. Not like this," she said. "You did this," I replied. "The moment you decided I made you look like you settled." "I need you to pack a bag and stay somewhere else for a few days," I said. The fight left her all at once. "I'll go to my sister's," she muttered, voice breaking. When the door closed behind her, the silence that followed didn't feel empty. It felt like the first real breath I'd taken in months. Messages kept coming. "Please, can we talk? I didn't mean it like that. I'm freaking out." I turned my phone face down. By evening, the tone shifted. "You're overreacting. You blindsided me at brunch. Do you have any idea how that made me look?" How she looked, not how I felt. Morning brought that strange, nauseous clarity that follows a big decision. Made coffee, called a lawyer recommended by a coworker. "It's good you're doing this before any legal marriage documents or property are involved," she said gently. That sentence landed like a delayed explosion. Around lunchtime, an unfamiliar number called. "Victor, dear. It's Carol, Renata's mom. She called us last night in pieces, said you ended the engagement." "I did," I said. "Can you tell me why?" She kept saying you overreacted to something she said. "Did she tell you what she said?" I asked. A pause. She said it came out wrong. I closed my eyes and repeated it word for word. "Oh," Carol said finally. "Oh, Victor, she actually used the word settled. Yes, those were her exact words. That's not okay. That's not how you talk about someone you're supposed to marry. I don't blame you. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's gotten into her. For whatever it's worth, we love you. We always have. You've been good to her. Better than she deserved, apparently." The next weeks blurred into logistics and whiplash. Renata's messages went from anger, "You had no right to cancel the venue," to defensiveness, "No one else would throw away 3 years over a misphrased sentence," to slow desperation. "I'm seeing a therapist. I've been obsessed with status and appearances. Please give me a chance." I responded rarely. "I heard you the first time. I believe you meant what you said. We are done." Priya kept me updated. Some of her friends thought canceling the venue was too much. Others quietly admitted they'd heard the little comments before. 3 weeks after she moved out, Renata came to talk logistics. She looked tired, thinner. "I'll cover the non-refundable stuff," she said, signing a form. "You shouldn't have to pay for that." "You're right about one thing," she said. "I cared more about how you made me look than how you felt." For a second I saw the woman I'd fallen in love with, but she hadn't shown me that months ago, and I couldn't unknow what she had shown me instead. A handwritten letter arrived days later, pages long, no return address. She wrote about growing up in a house where image was currency, a father who measured success in job titles, a mother who treated appearances like armor. "You were never actually not enough," she wrote. "I made you feel that way because I was terrified people would see how small I feel on the inside. I projected all of that onto you. I'm sorry." I read it twice, folded it back along its creases, and put it in the back of a drawer. Not because it meant nothing, but because it didn't change the most important thing. She hadn't suddenly become someone else. She just finally noticed who she'd been all along, and I had finally decided I deserved better. 1 month later, the joint accounts were closed, the last wedding deposit refunded. I woke up without the knot in my stomach I'd gotten used to ignoring. I reconnected with friends who loved me without needing me to be impressive. I went back to weekend hikes, signed up for a woodworking class, started reading again. Inch by inch, I grew back into the version of myself that existed before the careful comparisons. 3 weeks into my new normal, I ran into her at the coffee shop near our old apartment. She wasn't alone. A man sat across from her laughing at something she'd said. When she saw me, her face went pale, the way it had at brunch. "Victor," she breathed. "Hi, Renata," I said, and felt that strange calm wash over me. I gave a polite nod, ordered my drink, walked out before she could stand. I didn't owe her a conversation. I owed myself peace. A few days later, Priya and I grabbed lunch. "He asked about you. Wanted to know if you were seeing anyone," she said. I shut it down. Told her that's not your business anymore. You had someone good and made him feel like he wasn't enough. Let him move on. A warm, grateful ache bloomed in my chest. "Thank you," I murmured. "Don't thank me. Thank yourself for finally choosing you." Walking home, I realized I wasn't angry anymore. Not at Renata, not at myself, not at the time I'd spent being small for someone who didn't deserve it. The anger had burned away, leaving something quieter and sturdier behind. Not forgiveness exactly, but closure, the kind you build yourself piece by piece until you can breathe without flinching. Renata hadn't made one bad comment. She'd revealed the truth she'd been carrying the entire time. The settled comment wasn't a slip. It was the tip of the iceberg I'd been trying not to see. And walking away wasn't punishment. It was the first genuinely loving thing I'd done for myself in years. That night I lit a candle, cleaned the apartment, curled up with a book and a soft blanket. For the first time in a long time, the silence didn't feel heavy. It felt like home. I wasn't anyone's consolation prize. I wasn't a checkbox on someone's ambition list. I was enough. And finally, I believed it.